Aloha. In this lesson, we're going to be talking about counting using the range function. So let me go ahead and share my screen in the beginning. Okay, so we're going to be talking about the range function here. So what does the range function do? Well, the range function generates a sequence of numbers, and it can take up to 3 or 4 different forms here. The first one, we're just going to say range, and we're going to put inside our big parentheses there, we're going to put in an integer. And that number, if we just put in one number here, let's say 5, what's going to happen is it's going to generate a series of numbers from 0 until the 5, but it's not going to include 5. It's going to be non-inclusive. So you'll get 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. The second way of using this is with 2 different integers here. So the first integer will be our start, and our second integer is going to be the end. Actually, it's not going to be the exact end. It'll be the non-inclusive end. So let's say we're put in range of 0 to 5. Again, we're going to be going 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're not going to actually include that y. We're going to go up until y minus 1. So the third way of using this is using a stepping, an increment, basically. So we're going to say range of x, y, and z. X is your start, y is your end, and z is going to be the number of steps to go through or to use as you get to y. And then we can do the opposite. So we can do range x, y, and negative z, and that's going to generate the series of numbers that are less than or equal to x and greater than y, stepping in z increments. So let's go ahead and take a look at that in action. So I'm going to go ahead and comment this out right here. Let's just take a look at what happens with range when I say range of 5. So if we print here, we're going to see that it gives us a range of 0 to 5. So the 0 is implicit. We could explicitly say it just by doing 0, 5. So let's look at our second example here. And if we go ahead and do this, we should see that printing the range of 1 to 5 gives us excitingly the range 1 to 5. And we're going to do this for a couple more here. So now we've got range of negative 1, 5 to 2. So let's use this real quick in a quick example. So let's say we want to do 4x in range, and we will say range of negative 1, 5, 2, like we just had up here. And then so that we'll know what it looks like, let's do a print of x and see what that looks like. So just so this isn't so noisy, let's go ahead and silence that up there. And we'll do a print. So when we say range of negative 1, 5, 2, what we're going to do is we're going to go from negative 1 up to 5, skipping 2's. So we start with negative 1, and it prints the negative 1. Then we add 2 to it, and what does that give us? It gives us 1. So we're going to print x is 1, so we print that. Then we add 2 to it, and that'll give us 3. So we go back up here, and we print 3. And then we we add 2 more to it, and that gives us 5. So we get up here, and even though it's giving us negative 1 to 5, remember, it's non-inclusive. So we're at 5 now. So 5 is already beyond our range here. So we're not going to print. So we only do the negative 1, the 1, and the 3. So we start with our negative 1, add 2 to it, we get 1, add 2 to it, we get 3, add 2 to it, we get 5. 5 is actually outside of this range by 1 because this is non-inclusive 5. It's only going up to 4. So I hope that it makes sense to you. If it doesn't, again, please feel free to send me an email and I would be happy to explain that to you. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. So we're going to take a look at the negative. So we'll go ahead and print out. Yeah, that just gives us our range. Let's take that example from above and see what that looks like. And oops, I've got my, yeah, that I didn't do exactly what I should have here. I should have grabbed these 2 lines and put them there, and then we have to uncomment them. So now that we've got that, let's take a look at what going from negative 1 to 5 looks like. So we'll hit print. And once again, wait, did we just repeat the same thing that we did? I think we did. Or no, yeah, no, we didn't. Okay, sorry. So in here, we're going from 5 to 0. But yeah, that happens if you don't actually change what you copied before. All right, now it's going to make sense. Okay, so when we do this, what happens? So we're setting up a range that goes from 5 to 0, and it's going to increment by -1 each time. So we're going to start at 5. We're going to go until we hit not 0, but 1 before 0, which is going to be 1. And we're going to be doing -1. So we'll start with 5, then we'll go to 4, then to 3, then to 2, then to 1. And then when we hit 0, 0 is not included in that. So we're not going to print the 0. So we'll be stopping at 1. And that's what you see right here. We can make this exciting and do -2 if you want. And if we do -2, you'll see this shorten even more. So we start at 5, then go to 3, then go to 1, and then we go to -1. We go to -1, that's not in the range anymore, so the -1 doesn't print. So I hope that makes sense. If not, you can play around with this. The good thing about Python is you can get this, you can play around with it, just try different numbers, see what happens, and you can kind of get the idea of it. If you don't understand the concept, again, feel free to reach out to me. I'd be happy to help you one-on-one with that. So another thing to keep in mind, ranges represent an immutable meaning unchangeable, arithmetic progression or sequence. So we generally only use them for in for loops. And I kind of showed you the example up above. So we're going to do, this is a neat little thing that I came up with. If I wanted to know what the different years presidents were elected, we start with 1776 and we go all the way up to 2024, and we're going to step by increments of 4. So this is a useful, a useful example for using range like that. So if we were to click on print here and we go and look at it, we could see that we have 1776 to 80 going all the way up to modern times, which we recognize 2020. Remember, it doesn't go up and include 2024. It just goes up to 1 before that. So it's stepping in groups of it's stepping in 4 every time. So that's our last example. Again, this might be a little bit hard to wrap your head around. And if it is, absolutely feel free to reach out to me. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have, do a one-on-one session. Just let me know, how this is, working for you. And yeah, I'll see you in the next lesson.